happy holidays. And for all of you Amazon.com shoppers, go to southgatemediagroup.com. There's an Amazon login portal there, and just do your shopping. And portions of your shopping go to help support Southgate Media. So happy holidays.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Supergirl.
This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action.
This is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Birthright.
And you're listening to the Krypton Report.
And you're listening to Krypton Report.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird.
It's a plane! It's the Krypton Report!
The All Things Kryptonian podcast, including Superman and Supergirl.
We discuss games, movies, cartoons, TV shows, and comics.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. If you've enjoyed Krypton Report, please check out the other podcasts available from Southgate Media Group. From Capes and Lunatics, which is everything you could possibly want from a geek podcast, to Nuff Said, Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks, Titans Talk. If you're like me, you can't get enough of your DC. And you can also check out Super Connectivity, where they discuss everything in comics. Also, they do discuss Marvel. That's something you don't hear much from me. So, check it out. SouthgateMediaGroup.com.
Look in the sky. Superman is coming. It's so awesome.
That was weird.
Yeah, I started for some reason. I wanted to dial out to you and James, and I was like, nope.
Wow.
I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, no, mother trucker.
Man, I have I rewatched it while I was juggling cooking and doing all this stuff, and man, I have more questions than anything about this episode.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess I never watched Birds of Prey, and so I don't know the relationship of Huntress and stuff, and I'm muting it right now, and I started all over again. But man, so many questions.
Okay, well, let's get started. And James will join us and ask away, and I'll answer what I can. I got my handy-dandy new notebook. So.
Yeah, I had to pull out a new notebook the other day, too. So,
well, Janine got me a really cool special, it's got all the, Batman, Flash, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and Superman, symbols on the cover.
Oh.
And I just was holding on to it till I filled my other notebook up. And when I filled it up, then I busted this one out just in time for Crisis. So, all right, you ready to do this?
I'm ready.
All right. Hello, Bryan Peters, sir.
Hello, Mr. Tyler Patrick.
Welcome to the Crisis on Infinite Earth Krypton Report podcast. This is part 3 of the epic crossover that's happening on the CW right now.
Oh, it's so epic. So epic.
And it is it's crazy. So we're just going to
Yeah. Tyler and I were even talking before we started this conversation just how many questions I have, how our minds are just kind of hurting and
one thing I realized, and this is not only spoilers, because I rewatched part 3 again today as I was doing laundry, which is easy to watch something while you're just folding towels.
Totally.
My thought is I wish there were things that they would show us.
Thank you.
Instead of wasting time. And I say that because you can tell they're planting seeds either for something that's going to happen later in this series or that's going to filter, especially with the relationship of Kara and Batwoman, that's going to happen later on in the series. Because personally, I would have preferred to see, and I'm going to refer to them as actor names just to keep it straight, Brandon, Superman, when he says, I didn't get them all out. We didn't get them. I got to go back. I would like to have seen those struggles of Superman and stuff. And let's just face it, Tyler Superman did nothing in this episode.
No, wait, he did do something. He turned his head.
Oh, my bad. I totally forgot
And
about
he looked at Iris for a second, and then that was about it.
Okay, my bad. But my thing is, those would have been interesting scenes of just action, and like I know it's a TV budget, and they, even though this is a crossover, like I think they've done a good job doing the crossover, so you're not sure what episode you are if you were just looking at it from an outside point of view. Like, oh, this is the Flash, Even though like in this episode, Cisco and Caitlin did join, but we also got Diggle, who wasn't previously in an episode. So you're like, oh,
Finally.
Okay. So it definitely feels more like it's a 5-part movie story than being chapters of, an ongoing. Like when you watch Invasion, you can point out, oh, this is the Arrow episode. This is the Flash episode. This is the Legends episode. So,
well, I mean, I felt it's flowed okay. It's flowed pretty decent. But like the first episode, it is really a Supergirl. Like each episode for this perspective character has ended with a focus on that character. So, episode 1 ended with 38 disappearing, and the car is like, oh no, I lost my people. And she lost her mom and all that stuff. And her like, maybe I can get 38 back. And then part 2 ended with Kate being like, oh, I'm the bat of the future and I'm a paragon now. And, even though as much as I would have liked to see more of Kevin Conroy in this, working with Brandon Routh, I would have liked to see some of that interaction, this old Batman with this old Superman. But I understand that they had, Kevin Conroy, kill his Superman. And, I understand that. I don't know. I would have liked more of Conroy. But go ahead.
I'm not saying I do too. But, he did what he did. I think he got more screen time than in a way I would have thought. So that, it was nice that, he was in there longer than what he could have been, It really could have been just a, like, kind of like how we got the Knox cameo and stuff. It could have really just been a pop and drop.
That is true. It also would have been pretty cool if we would have seen, like, if there would have been a different Kate there that wasn't dead. Yes. And this Kate was, Bruce Wayne's apprentice, and she was taking over the mission for him, and she could see this other Kate and this other Earth that did go the dark way, that did take it too far, that did become like Beth. And that would have been some character development that would have been really good for Kate, where she's like, whoa. If I keep going down this Batwoman path, will I end like Bruce? Will I turn the way that Beth has turned?
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
It would have been interesting even if you would have, like what you just said, if you would have flipped that, and instead of it being Kate, it was Beth. On that,
there you go.
On that Earth, the roles were because then you could have got the actress that played Beth.
There we go.
I'm kind of surprised she wasn't in it. First of all,
yeah,
because you said you hadn't seen it. She was Black Canary in Birds of Prey. In the TV show Birds of Prey, that actress was the young Black Canary. And So I'm surprised that she, already being in contract with CW, wasn't with that cameo of Huntress at the very beginning together. They did, I looked it up, the voice of Oracle that she talks to was Dina Myers, who did the voice and who was Oracle on Birds of Prey. I don't know if it was a new recording or if it was old audio.
Like archive footage type thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it really was her as Oracle. So I don't know why they couldn't have just in the schedule like found a shot for her just to be in that same shot. So I don't know.
So you're saying Beth was Black Canary on that show?
Yeah.
Well, then it would have made much more sense to have Bruce be with Beth.
I mean,
and Beth is like the quote unquote Terry McGinnis, only evil.
I mean, they've already doubled up on an actor if you think about it. I mean, they had Erica Durance as Allura on Supergirl, and then they had her as Lois, you know, on her Smallville segment. So, I mean, they already doubled up an actress on something.
That's Brandon Routh. They've already, you know, I don't know. We'll get to that point, but I feel like I would have liked more of Brandon Routh Superman.
Me too. I'm still holding out hope for more, just because Ray's not there either.
That's true. He's yeah. One thing I did want to go back and watch is an interesting theory, listeners, that Tyler and I looked at today is Tom Welling's Superman. Was he wearing blue kryptonite on an arm, like a wristband?
Well, with further investigation, it is the watch that was Jonathan Kent's watch that Clark had and wore, but it does have a blue sheen to it and a glow, so it makes me wonder if there is blue kryptonite in there.
Oh, I gotta go back tonight and just like pause it frame by frame because man. So, all right. So this episode starts out. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, of course. No. But so this episode starts out with we hear Diggle's back, and Cisco has showed up, and him and Ray have finished the Paragon detector. And now we know who all the Paragons are.
Well, hold on. You got a little ahead. It opens with Huntress from Birds of Prey running, and we see Earth 203 get destroyed, which was cool because Birds of Prey debuted in 2003. So that made complete sense why that was Earth 203.
Fair enough. Very true.
Other than that, you're completely right, where it goes from there. Like, that was we saw that, then we got the Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Yes. Sorry, I hit play when we started talking, but it skipped a bit. So, yes. So, that Earth has disappeared. We see a little bit of Huntress, who, correct me if I'm wrong, in that world, she was Batman and Catwoman's daughter?
Yeah, she was Helena Wayne. Or not Helena. Yeah, Helena Wayne, right? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Wayne. Yeah, Helena Wayne. Now, didn't they do in another Earth, like Earth 2, Huntress was the daughter of Batman and Catwoman?
Yeah. So that show always kind of felt like it was on an Earth 2 kind of thing because they talked about New Gotham and they talked about, she was Helena Wayne, the daughter of Batman and Catwoman. So, but now we know it wasn't Earth 2, it was Earth 203.
Gotcha.
So, the joy just keeps coming.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait till January.
Oh my God!
I think he's ready.
I mean, can't wait till January, but it's in two. It's like both parts in 2 nights, though. One night. They couldn't have even spread it out like.
Oh wait, they're doing it one night?
Yeah, it's both episodes in one night.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I could take that. Right,
and I'm like, and that means when we record, we're double talking. It's like,
oh my gosh, we're gonna have to call it that day
because I cannot not watch it live. You know what I'm saying? Like I could pause it, let's record, then go back and watch it. And hey, look who's buzzing in. He must.
Hello, Superman Red.
He made it to the vanishing point. All right.
Yes, sir. So James, all we got so far is that Earth 203 has disappeared. The Huntress is gone again, and they are showing us who the 7 Paragons are. Cisco and Ray finished the Paragon detector for the big reveal. Yeah.
Okay. Was it not weird that all of a sudden Barry is a Paragon, and so is John Jones. Like,
so what's messed up is that half of the Paragons, more than half of the Paragons, are from the main shows.
Right.
Like they're already there.
And that's what's killing me. Okay. I know logistics reasons why not, but honestly, instead of John Jones, it should have been Black Lightning. Like, it should have been Jefferson Pierce. So we would have had Jeff from Another Earth, Kara from Another Earth, then Barry.
Brandon from Another Earth.
Exactly. And it would have felt a little bit bigger. Yeah, they're from the main shows, but at least those are from different Earths. Compare from all of a sudden all the Paragons are from Earth 1.
I gotta say, I'm very upset that the Paragons are who they are. Like, we have this huge cliffhanger in episode 2. Like, who are these 3 Paragons? Oh my gosh, is Tom Welling's Superman going to be one? You know, is Conroy's Batman was one for a brief time. You know, like, who is it going to be?
I was gonna say, they already showed it wasn't going to be Tom Welling.
But like,
and Conroy's in the second episode. So when they leave off in the second episode and they're trying to find the 3 more Paragons, I expected Jefferson to be one.
I expected,
and Honor would have fit him.
I mean,
Honor would have fit him well.
There's someone that we all expected to be one who's not one. That is in this episode, and we'll discuss it.
Okay. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. That's that. I thought he would be one. If you're thinking who I'm thinking,
John Wesley Shipp.
Yes, I really thought he would be one. And
I held out hope that maybe there'd be a surprise guest or role.
That was a good passing of the torch, though.
Right.
Like full on passing of the torch. Especially since they brought him back last year as Barry Allen from Earth 90.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. But I just thought that maybe the last Paragon would have been a surprise of somebody like we didn't think about or knew, or it would have been a character that just kind of blew us all away. Like, oh my god,
Deathstroke.
Or like it had been, say, Nightwing from Titans, and it just completely.
Oh my gosh!
And like, it just blew us away that all of a sudden Britton Thwaites walks in. You know.
I'm sorry if Nightwing would have been a Paragon, I would have had to change my pants. That would have been it for me. I would have had to walk away.
You know, something that. But all right, so we get. John is Honor, Barry is Love.
Yep. And then this new kid, this Ryan Choi,
is Humanity.
Yes.
Now Ryan Choi makes sense.
What's interesting is he's the Paragon of Humanity, but the Monitor said the 7 Paragons of Humanity.
Oh, I didn't.
Like It's a little odd to call one of them Humanity and then call them the 7 Paragons of Humanity.
Touche. I missed that. Good catch there, James. Good catch.
That one struck me as soon as you said it. I was like, that's weird. Like that's lazy writing.
Stupid.
Okay. So here's something. This is random, but I thought about. I wish they had done some filming techniques or something to make the Monitor just appear bigger. Like he's like 7 foot tall or something. Just a little bit more like bigger than life. Compared to the others.
I understand what you're saying.
So we get
Force perspective isn't that hard to use.
Nope, just call Peter Jackson. I talked about him for a long time last night. And there's a whole other thing I won't even dig into that makes
Speaking of digging, look who finally shows up. Diggle. And he's pissed off.
You know, so Diggle, that is a very interesting kind of story line because you have Diggle and you have Mia, Constantine, and Sarah. But where did Sarah go? Like, why wasn't she with Constantine? I think I missed it or something. Like, it was just Mia and Diggle that went with Constantine. Where'd Sarah go?
I'm actually watching her talk to Diggle right now over Oliver's body.
Because that's what she does. She has that conversation, and then she's gone after that. Like,
did she?
Yeah, I don't really recall seeing her.
And I don't remember a line of dialogue about, hey, I gotta go or anything.
Because Frost and Vibe and Pariah and Black Lightning and Barry and Earth 90 Barry were all at the antimatter cannon. And then, those three went to Purgatory, and then it was Kara and Batwoman, having their world's finest time, kind of helping each other out, getting, kind of believing and getting the spirit back of the paragons that they are.
Yep.
So which was a good character moment between those two. It was good character work between those two, I think. They had the Bruce Clark dynamic, the Superman Batman dynamic going on pretty well.
Which makes me want to bring something up real quick here. So, one problem that we've had with I don't know if it's a problem, but people have said, like, with Supergirl, the show, is that she outshines Superman. And we just got to look at, on this Earth 1, Supergirl is more prominent than Superman.
Well, they know her because Barry had traveled Earths and met her.
But not even that. Like, if we go back to when was it season 3, when in season 3 when she had to fight Rain, he goes on and says, like, Kara's stronger than me.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So this relationship of Superman and Supergirl is different, with Supergirl being more of the more powerful, confident character, because it is her show, compared to how we're used to the relationship being. She's more of the hopeful one than he is, because, right now he's struggling. So it's just one of those things that we just got to kind of like why she's the paragon that she is compared to it being Clark. Because everyone's like, why isn't it Superman? It's not his show, people. And like I said to Bryan earlier, is Superman Tyler did nothing in this episode. I think it is a little odd later, we'll get there, that a certain event happens and everyone's just kind of standing around staring. Nobody kind of moves. So they're just sort of like, oh.
Hey, I had that answer for you guys. So Sarah says, you guys go to Purgatory.
Hey, can you guys turn that down a little bit?
Yeah, okay, sorry. Sarah says to Diggle that I will watch over Oliver's body while you and Mia and Constantine go to Purgatory and get him back. So I will make sure that he doesn't flip out and like start killing people. So that's where she is.
Okay, cool. Works well. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about like group clusters again. So we have Vibe and Barry, and then Pariah with Killer Frost at the anti-monitor cannon. So,
antimatter cannon.
Antimatter.
So it was it was what's generating the antimatter wave that's sweeping across the universe, the multiverse.
And of course, it's on Earth 1. Of course.
Yeah, sure. because that's the cave or the little door that Pariah opened.
Pariah. And he shows up and he says, "I'm here to bear witness to tragedy." And he shows up and he's watching. He disappears, and we learn that it's Pariah that goes and gets Black Lightning. And we can assume that Black Lightning at Earth is 73. That's the one we see destroyed, and then he shows up.
So what was interesting was I heard that it was 70. Somebody said it was 73, and speculated that it was because he was created in 73, but he was created in 77. So why wasn't his Earth 77?
I don't know.
So Black Lightning's Earth was 77?
No, it was 73.
Did they specify? Because the only time that they had Earth 73 was on the display that Lois was watching.
Well, that's
the only time they had.
Yeah, because we see that Earth get disappear, and then he shows up next and says your Earth was just destroyed. So,
well, they say every second another Earth, another universe, or another multiverse dies.
So we could go with it for now.
Oh, hey, we're missing something here. How about Cisco?
Oh yeah.
Cisco gave up his powers, and now something's happened.
The Monitor just waved his hand like, yeah, we need your powers back. Here you go, Vibe. He's like, no, I gave them up. Blip. There they are.
Yep. Cisco did not want his powers back. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, because Cisco's a.
But
I'm not going down that rabbit hole again.
But it looks like the Monitor uses Cisco's vibe abilities to get to the antimatter cannon. And this antimatter cannon is what is actually causing the wave to destroy the Earth. If I'm right. Maybe I'm right.
You're right.
I don't know. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure we didn't miss something.
And then
I'm trying to make sure we don't miss anything.
It's powered by... we see it's powered by Earth 90's Flash. And we get the musical cue, which was awesome.
Yeah.
We get to hear the Danny Elfman Flash theme again.
I gotta say, that's been such a nice thing about this crossover. Like how they add in the original 89 Batman theme, when they showed Earth 89, the Batman animated series theme when we saw Earth 99 and Kevin Conroy. Like, it's the Superman theme when Brandon Routh came. Like, it's been awesome just having these little tidbits.
It has been. And it's nice to just kind of feel like refresh with your characters that we know. And what's crazy is, like, this is the Flash. Like, Crisis is... Holy wow. What's crazy is the Crisis has been very prominent on the Flash series. But I feel like Barry, our Flash, has done very little in this crossover.
Yes.
And, like, he's like...
Not as little as... Okay.
He says, like, this is the time the Monitor has talked to me that this is when I should disappear in Flashpoint. Or, not Flashpoint. In Crisis. It's like, okay, like, you're just dragging your feet. Like, this is what you've been preparing for. And then, of course... John Wesley Shipp Flash steals his speed and says, send me back. Let me do this. I'm like, of course.
Yeah. A Barry died. In the Crisis. A Flash died.
And it just kills me because I'm like, the whole thing has been the Flash and Crisis, and now he's barely done anything in any of the episodes.
Hello. Yep. And that newspaper, when we see that newspaper for the first time in season 1, it clearly shows a picture of Grant Gustin's Flash. Flash disappears in crisis. It clearly shows it. It doesn't just say the Flash with the lightning. It clearly shows him. And when they changed the date, it still showed him, right? Like when the date changed to December 10th, it still showed Grant, right?
Yeah, but I mean, part of Oliver Queen's death was basically to say that anything that we've seen or we know about the forward universe is up for change. Because like this isn't how it's supposed to happen. Things are changing.
But like it just bothers me. Like they told us that Oliver was going to die. They told us that Barry was going to die for so long. Like something was going to happen in Crisis for all these years. And then it's Barry's turn to die. We're like, okay, this is it. I've been ready for this. Okay, Barry's going to go. And it's a different Barry. It's still Barry, but it's not, it's not the Barry that we spent the last 6 years with. All this season has been, okay, Barry's going to go. Cisco's going to be team leader now. Iris, you're going to lose me. And we go and take 90s Barry, and it's like a cop-out. It's like, okay, so Barry's going to live. Oh, he's the paragon of love now. Like, once they showed Barry as the paragon of love, I was like, I'm scratching my head here.
Well, I mean, my thing was I always had a feeling that it wouldn't have been Grant Gustin Barry because we're in the middle of the season. They're not going to go his show that long without him. And John Wesley Shipp was back, and we all kind of assumed, like, oh, it's going to be him that goes. And like I said, they prefaced it with the everything can change. Everything is changing. So that kind of throws out anything we already know. But I don't know if you guys read this. There is one thing that tells us the multiverse will be fixed and goes forward and characters live. And it is a special guest appearance character of this episode. That's the clincher.
Oh, hold on. What did I miss?
The Spectre character?
Nope.
Or was it Lucifer?
It's Lucifer.
Yeah, that's the next part of the episode.
Because
yes, sir.
Lucifer,
I like that.
It's confirmed that the time frame that Lucifer appears here is before his series starts.
Oh, really?
So his entire series is post-Crisis.
Really? How do you know that?
Because they've gone on the record and said it. Because everyone's asking about...
Okay, that's good enough for me.
Oh, I had no idea.
Because he was talking about it and everything. And because the original pitch for Lucifer the show was supposed to be him saying, what is it you desire? And it's all about him making deals with people. And that's in the pilot. But then they changed it, made it like a police procedural with him. And so... it was interesting to see him back as that type of Lucifer. And he said, yeah, the show takes place in the 5 years I was in L.A., the character was, before the show starts. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that shows us that there will be a multiverse that returns.
Huh. So...
Or is he just in LA on the same Earth as everybody else?
Yeah.
It's still the future. Something comes back,
Well, yeah, something comes back. We know they obliterated all Earths. There's nothing. There's nothing for people to. There's no Earth. There's only 7 people left alive, and they're in the vanishing point.
All right, so let's get there, and we can kind of backpedal here in a second. But I'm gonna say this: I hated that they destroyed all the Earths. I hated it. I don't like it because as soon as you raise the stakes that high, you have to kind of go in there and fix something. Like, you can't end it. Now, if they had to end it, it was like, there's only 3 Earths left, and then they have to battle to protect those last 3, there makes me feel like there's more stakes in that's all that could be left, or it's going to just go down to 1. Instead of there's nothing and now we have to bring them back somehow. Like you said,
Well, like I said, I think that's why they are placing so much time on Kara and Batwoman on the Book of Destiny, about trying to recreate an entire planet using the Book of Destiny. I think that, if they can, they'll be able to collectively or something recreate an entire planet, not a multiverse, but an entire planet where, people they know and a population exists.
I just hope it's not like Kara looking in the book and then they all join hands and like share the book's energy together.
Well, that's kind of the easiest out, is you just have to believe. We all believe and we all love and everything is good again.
Yeah.
But now speaking of this Book of Destiny, we get this little scene with Kate almost ready to kick Lex Luthor's butt. She pins him against the wall and is like, tell us about the Book of Destiny. And he's like, well, if you use it, it takes a very keen mind. It takes someone with great focus and intelligence. Otherwise, you could lose your mind. And if you want to bring back a whole planet, you might go insane. John Cryer, best Lex Luthor like ever. Oh my gosh, she's so good. But and just yeah. So it was interesting with the Book of Destiny with Kara because will Kara really reshape the universe with this Book of Destiny, or will it drive her mad? Will we see Supergirl go crazy and we get this 0 hour Hal Jordan as Parallax type thing for maybe a future crossover? I don't know. I would
think, if you're going to go that way, okay, I see she pulls it off, but we start to see that she's having voices in her head, things are messing with her, and that kind of keeps going and builds to next year's crossover, where she eventually snaps.
I think that would be a great idea for a crossover. I really do.
They found because the threat is finally one of them and not something external.
I mean, that's what made 0 hour such really powerful. Like when Hal Jordan lost his mind because he lost Coast City in his home, kind of like Kara lost her home here. It was a great story.
I still would like the Kara Rage of the Red Lanterns type story down the line.
Oh, you gotta take it to that whole level, huh? Ooh.
But so yeah, I mean, they keep building up, and we'll kind of jump to, Kate shows Kara that she has the piece of kryptonite that Bruce gave her before they actually left. Kara's like, why do you have that? And then she tells Kate to keep it. So we do kind of get that scene of Supergirl, because I mean, let's face it, it's Supergirl and Batwoman, but it's still Batman and Superman. They're using their stories, personalities, and tropes in those characters. So we got that scene.
Agreed.
We got that scene of them giving her the kryptonite, basically. Now, before we do get a great scene, I want to jump back real quick, of John Wesley Shipp, Flash, on the treadmill running, and as he rips apart, it cuts away to a clip from Flash, and we find out that this Barry Allen married Tina McGee, and we see Tina McGee from a clip from the old 90s Flash, and we hear the theme song And I'm going to admit, fellas, it teared me up. It teared me up. What about you guys?
I was glad to see it. I thought it was pretty cool looking. They went all the way back to, especially with it being his sacrifice, they went all the way back to his show.
I mean, it's great because, you know, that was my Flash as a kid. Like, I remember when that show was on, like, it was the show I kept wanting to watch but could never figure out when it was on TV.
I don't know what. I know I watched some of it when it was on TV. I couldn't tell you anything like definitive, but I know I watched some of it then.
The one episode I know I watched was the pilot, and I watched the episode with Pollux, who was like his clone, the Blue Flash. Because I just remember it being like, oh, the Blue Flash. Like, it just stuck out in my brain as a child. Other than that, I don't know what else I watched of the show. But I know I watched the pilot. So, anything from you, big guy, Bryan? Nope. All right. Moving on. So,
I don't know.
Hey, hello?
Yeah, hey.
Hey, that was weird. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That was weird. Okay. Oh, I don't know why you couldn't hear me. So, John, did you even watch Mark Hamill Trickster?
I don't think so. I remember seeing the promo, but it's one of those shows like, you know, when you're a kid that you like that maybe your parents don't like or could care less about, so they don't really keep up with it when they change nights or whatever for the show and it's bouncing around.
Well, for the CBS Flash with Wesley Shipp, I would rent that from Blockbuster religiously. Nice. Like every couple months, I would go and I would rent that pilot from Blockbuster. Like I can bring it in my mind, like just seeing that VHS on the shelf, and my mom like going, really again? Because the only show I ever watched with my mom as a kid was Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher's Superman. We would watch that every Sunday, so that holds a special place in my heart. And 90s Flash, that was my Blockbuster rental, man. So, yeah, it teared me up. It teared me up when I saw he married Tina and he just fades away. Yeah, it got to me. It did.
I mean, and then I said this to myself, and I'm going to say it right here with you guys. This episode gave me the idea of a show that I never knew I wanted until this episode. I want to see Brandon Routh Superman and Black Lightning and The Flash get their own show. I just want to see or an episode. I just want to see those three hanging out, talking, being superheroes. Like,
what intrigues you about that trinity, if you will? What intrigues you the most?
They're all hopeful in a different way. They're all powerful, good-hearted men. Like, the kind of people you'd, like, look up to. It's like, you know, they're all... Well, two of them are father figures, and one is, like, you know, not a father figure, but, you know, two of them are. I don't know, I just like it. So...
I think we need to see more superheroes as parents. I think now's the time we need to see superheroes as parents.
Well, you know,
I really do.
They gave us this really awkward Oliver as like the worst father ever.
Yes.
You know, and then Barry kind of like he had his kid sorta like, you know, like his adult child. And he's like, hey, my grown-up adult daughter that is already grown that I don't have to really be, like, a parent to. Like, and then, you know, Oliver gets to meet Mia. And then Oliver never had to, like, deal with the crap, you know? Literally, the poop. It's like, he did a little bit with Mia. But anyways, you know, the thing is, that's one reason I've liked Black Lightning. Is I like that he's a father, and that's his focus, and that is something that attracts me to that show, because I like the character of Jefferson, but I really like that he's a father. So, and
DC Comics has this horrible habit right now of, let's just take this kid from being a baby and this guy, you know, being a father. Let's just take in. Let's just speed it up a little bit and just make them like 20 years old, because there's no interesting stories to tell when they're 10 or 5. You know, John Kent. There you go. That's all I gotta say.
Yes. To hell with that. Those were good stories, and I still say screw Bendis for aging him up like that.
Bendis.
No, I'm not. I just
that was not cool.
Nope.
Just to tell a specific story, they're like, okay, well, let's just skip like 7 years of this dude's life.
Exactly.
Yep. I don't like it. I don't like it. So one thing that Tyler and I were mentioning before you jumped in, James, is we were saying how, like, this episode felt like they took out such great scenes that we could have saw and just put in stupid other filler. For example, you see Brandon Routh like fly or appear back on the ship and talk to Lois, and he's like, I couldn't save him. You know, he's going in there with Tyler's Superman, which we don't see him do anything. And he comes back and he's just so frustrating because he's like, I couldn't save him. I couldn't save all these people. And we could have got these awesome scenes of these Supermans just saving people. But instead we get him flying back and he's like, I couldn't do it. And then Lois says, you know, why did you have the black in your symbol and on your S? And he has this line that's just awesome. I love this line where he says, because it shows that even in the darkest times, hope can shine through. That's in that little bit of darkness, and my S can shine through. And I thought that was pretty dope.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
And I mean,
that was a pretty good shot. That was a pretty good shot. Interaction with Brandon Routh Superman.
All right.
But I felt we got cheated, man. I want more. I want more. When you like something, you want more.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Routh Superman period is like the thing about this that's getting everybody like, I want more. Like, I want this. Like, this is something that I didn't realize I wanted more of till now. And it's actually and it's kind of sad because he's doing so great. But, I mean, I feel like this is more of like him as Superman. It's just enough of like the amalgamized Returns and Reeve universe. But I think Brandon's getting to shine more as Superman. And it stinks because even here we're getting what we want, but we still don't get enough of it. And
I agree. We are getting him. We're getting him to be able to do what he can do, and he's not having to rely on, you know, this is a Superman Returns movie, or like this is a Christopher Reeve add-on. You know, this is it's kind of a Christopher Reeve add-on, but he's able to be himself here, and I agree with you totally. Well, what are you feeling, James?
Well, the producers, you know, they had done a disservice to Chris Reeves after the first two movies, and especially with the fourth movie. So to extend his character to Brandon Routh's, sure, Superman Returns was by all means a letdown, not Brandon Routh's fault at all.
Bryan
but
Singer's.
To be able to bring him back in this capacity and allow him to become his own version of Superman because he was locked into being Chris Reeves, but now he can be his own version, and add something more from the comics as well to his Superman. It's just, it's great. I mean, I was kind of, I loved it, but I was also kind of upset when he was basically written out of Destiny. So, antimatter took him even at the vanishing point, and he was replaced. So I was kind of sad to see him go, of course. But he got a great chance to shine, and it still just makes you wanting more. People wanted more of him then, not necessarily the story they were telling, but wanted more of him as Superman. So, it's great to get more. And when something's good, you want more of it. And what are you going to do? You're, as Bryan put it, you're cheated. I don't know about being cheated. Yep. It's just, he's good and you want more, but so
no,
that's sad.
I felt cheated.
I know you do.
And I liked him. And, okay. So, yeah. So
I wouldn't be cheated because he's done such a good job with what he was given. So it's not really cheated. It's just.
That's fair. Okay. All right. You're right. As I'm watching the episode as we talk, we missed something. So Lucifer makes a deal with Constantine and says, here's my card. Once this devil card fades away, you'll be lost in purgatory and you won't be able to get Oliver's soul. And they arrive in purgatory, which looks like Lian-Yu, Purgatory Island, whatever. We always have to go back to that island because I guess it doesn't cost that much money to film there. And Constantine says, it won't be Oliver, he won't remember us. And then Oliver attacks them, and all of a sudden Diggle's like, remember who you are. And Oliver's back to normal, and then somebody shows up that I wasn't expecting at that time. Anybody remember?
The Spectre, Jim Corrigan.
Yeah.
Which we were discussing. I preferred Jim Corrigan as played by damn it, what was his name? I didn't have his name before, and now I don't have it again.
Lobo?
Yeah, played by Lobo. From the Constantine series. I preferred that Jim Corrigan.
Oh, I'll have to look that up.
It's on DC Universe.
Lobo or Jim Corrigan on Constantine?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking it up right now.
Dad,
Yeah,
did I put her on the tree or something?
It's Emmett
Grab her
J.
with-
Scanlon is his name. And he was Jim Corrigan on Constantine. And there's a scene where he's not the Spectre. He's just the detective. And I would have liked to have him, because then it would have been like pulling somebody else from the Constantine series as the Spectre, and also would have been kind of a nod to that he was on Krypton. So I'm still waiting for maybe a tie to Krypton.
Oh yeah.
For this show.
Yeah, I'm looking here, guys, and now it's like, yeah, okay, I remember the Spectre on Constantine for a little bit, but he never went full Spectre.
No, he never went Spectre.
Did
at all.
he?
He was still
just glow green.
Yeah, he was still just Jim.
Yeah.
It was alluded that he was going to be murdered and become the Spectre, but it never happened.
So that breaks my heart, because the Spectre is one of my favorite characters of all time, and just I don't know. I love the Spectre, and in this episode, he just shows up out of nowhere, and he's like, hey, Oliver, you want to be the new Spectre?
So, I'm Jupiter. Sorry, I said it wrong.
I almost wondered if it would have been something a little bit different when they got to Lian Yu and you just found Oliver shooting arrows at a target and he was at peace. And it would have been kind of like the way they tried to bring Oliver's soul back in the Quiver run. And that's kind of what I was wondering.
Thank you. And thank you.
You are welcome. So that was kind of my thought behind it. Was like they're gonna like change it up, But why, if he died, why is he in purgatory? Like that didn't explain. Like why didn't his soul move forward? Why is he in purgatory? But whatever, They.
Yep.
Because they couldn't reach him unless he was.
So, that's the best way to say it, but.
Yeah.
But when Hal Jordan, like in the comics, when Hal Jordan died at the 0 hour and they made him the new Spectre, was Hal Jordan in purgatory? I think he was just like in nothing. Like I can't remember.
I can't either.
I don't know, but that was
Phil,
a great story.
Where are you, Phil? Hit me up. Okay, message me back, Phil. Okay. I know you're listening. So do your Phil thing and correct me.
I didn't read that, so I don't know. I haven't read that yet, so I don't know.
Well, all I can remember is that Corrigan, the Spectre, no longer wanted to be attached to Corrigan or something like that, and it needed a new host. And Hal Jordan had sacrificed himself during the 0 hour, when he was fighting Kyle. He sacrificed himself to reignite the sun.
I do know that he was the Spectre, yeah.
Yeah. And that was a big part of Quiver, too. And, yeah, anyway. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel as Oliver the Spectre. I don't think I like it. But.
Well, like, my thought is it's going to be one of those things that they can keep Stephen Amell there as a backdoor character to, if they want to have like the next crossover and the Spectre shows up, like, Stephen Amell returns for the crossover event. They can kind of bring him back in some capacity and kind of have him pop up here and there, without him having to actually be Green Arrow, be Oliver. So I get it.
But why can't a character just die?
Right, and that's something you had texted me earlier. Is like that's why I go back to like with the stakes. Like nobody has really died of importance. Like,
nope.
We've lost characters that we love, but they're not characters that are of this show, this series.
Yep. Like in the Crisis comic, we lost. Oh my gosh, we lost so many people. We lost Barry on Flash. We lost Kara Supergirl. That was such an emotional death in that comic. Superman just holding her dead body. We lost.
These are main characters of the shows that they currently have running. It's not characters that they're going to kill off.
But they could get rid of, I don't know, Iris. I mean, that'd be awesome.
Well, at least for the moment they did. So I don't know, guys. So at the end of the movie, or not the end of the movie, end of the show, Lila shows back up, and then a lot of crap happens.
So yeah.
Yep, she's controlled by the Anti-Monitor, and she kills the Monitor.
She
straight out of the comics.
And he calls the Anti-Monitor Mobius.
Yes, he does.
And it is really crazy because Pariah's just standing there watching, and basically he sends the 7 Paragons to the Vanishing Point.
Which I need to go back and read that part of Darkseid War where they explain explain him being Mobius, having a name, and where he came from.
Right. I need to also. My books are.
I think it's part. I think it's still part of, the similar creation story of them being brothers or them being opposites, but they added more to it and some other connections, which is inevitable. They do that with everything as stories continue to evolve.
Yes, they do.
So in the new 52, or I'm sorry, in Rebirth,
it was new 52.
This is what the anime monitor looks like now, and he's called Mobius.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he doesn't look like that mechanical body, just the antimatter inside of a mechanical body.
So,
yeah, well, I mean, my opinion. I like the old stuff.
Yeah, which I had heard people like old school comic readers too, like, I can't remember who it was, but saying like I don't get, like, they were never like sold on the design. Of course, the story is great, and he was a great villain and everything. But they were like, man, I was never sold on that design. And then when they kind of redesigned him, like in the new 52, they're like, now that's a redesign. Like that's good. It makes him look something. Makes him kind of look like a being of some sort.
Yeah.
So it's not. Yeah, so it's not just. I mean, it's anybody's preference. It's all subjective, but.
Yep, it is.
I thought he looked weird. I wasn't expecting that when I read through Crisis on Infinite Earths. So.
I don't know. I thought he kind of had like a Darth Vader thing going on. I kind of liked it.
Of course you did, Bryan.
I like everything old. So why the heck? Like, one thing I'm confused about, and maybe you guys caught it. So Lois is at the monitor, and she says there's like 7 Earths left, right? And then Lila kills the monitor, and now everything's gone.
Well, she said there were 7 Earths left before they got there, where there was only Earth 1 left. When they're all there at the end, there's only the 1 Earth left.
Okay.
Everything else is gone now, and there's 1 Earth left, and basically right then is when it's like, because Pariah shows up, and then it dawns on everyone that Pariah is there to bear witness to a tragedy, and that's when it dawns on everyone that it's not Lila. Of course, I'm sorry, but if my wife all of a sudden just started acting weird, had magical powers, and then started talking about how she's been working with somebody, I'd be a little skeptical. Yeah,
I'd be like, wow, that's some STD. Do I need to get checked? Like,
like another. So, but John's like, Lila, Lila. Yeah, bro, it's not good. But it ends with them at the vanishing point, and then the biggest kick in the crotch is Lex Luthor used the Book of Destiny to write out Superman as a paragon, and it's now him. So you have
yes.
Lex Luthor, John Cryer is amazing. So kind of sucks. It makes sense that he'd write out Superman. But it sucks that Brandon Routh's Superman is gone. But also what's funny is people were saying that for the 7 paragons, the 7 symbols on the cave, on the wall, on the door, they're like, clearly one of them is an arrowhead. And that's the one that Lex Luthor wrote out. So there is not an arrow character as a paragon. It's almost more like the shield, the Pentagon shield, flipped over.
Interesting.
So people were completely wrong by trying to guess what those symbols meant.
Yeah.
Well, I will say one of them does look like Barry's helmet or Barry's mask. Like that's the only one I could point out that was like that kind of does look like the mask and the lightning on the ears of Barry, and that's all I could figure out. At least that's what it looked to me.
Makes sense. But all right, that is Crisis Part 3, and I'm telling you, I don't think it's a cliffhanger, but I think if it was like them down to like 1 or 2 Earths, and like they were sent to the vanishing point to save them, and it left where the Monitor was like battling the Anti-Monitor, and we didn't know what happened, and then Lex Luthor wrote himself out, it'd be more like a cliffhanger to me. But having no Earths, I'm just like, they're gonna fix it. Like it just to me, like I feel like I lose my. Like, oh man, like you've raised the stakes. It's just kind of like in Endgame. You knew they were gonna go back in time and bring everybody back. Yeah, there's still stakes from the 5-year gap and all that and stuff, but you knew they were gonna fix it.
Well, so in the comic, it's interesting because there's 5 Earths left. They're fighting over them, but the Anti-Monitor goes back to the beginning of time. To change the history of the universe from the very beginning, and so which they do mention in the promo for the 2-hour finale, the 2-episode 2-hour finale. But they were fighting. Excuse me.
It's all good.
They were fighting each other, and then they have to go back in time. So they have to go back and stop the Anti-Monitor from changing and becoming, changing the entire multiverse into the antimatter universe. So, I mean, I don't know. Like you say, it sounds like you're like, there's no stakes because everything's just going to go back to the way it was. Like, I don't think that's the case. It's not going back to the way it was.
I don't think
they have to restore people. They have to restore an Earth and people because they have cast and stuff. Right. You know what I mean? But
it just makes it like I don't know. Like I said, I know they're going to bring and they're going to restore something, but that's the thing is they have to restore something. If they had left it like there was like 1 Earth. This is it. This is our last stand. And then, like, the next episode when we come back is the first scene is we lose that Earth. And we're like, oh, crap. Like, okay, that changed everything,
Right, yeah. I mean, that would have been a good way. But also, I mean, it's also a big cliffhanger like, oh, my God, there's only 7 people left in complete existence right now, Like, everything's gone. There's 7 people left in existence fighting for the universe, and they're the only things that stand between total annihilation.
That's the great James, the Superman of Red. But all right, we got a couple.
I guess I'm a little. I don't know. I guess I'm a little more optimistic.
I mean, I got optimism. This is how I would write the story.
Well, somebody has to be.
I would keep the optimism in the story because I would make it seem like I wouldn't jump to that as fast. I was just like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, well, now people are just waiting like, holy crap, like there's nothing left. And when they come back, they're like, okay, what's going to happen? How are they going to, like, the Monitor pretty much won at this point. How are they going to try and turn this around?
Yeah. Like,
hey, I just saw this.
Or the Anti-Monitor, rather.
I just saw something.
Okay.
I'm just going to throw this out there. The last time we saw Jonathan Kent, the little baby, he was with Mick.
Yep.
And we haven't seen him since. We have not seen Lois like, hell, where's my baby? Or Superman, where's my baby? Because Superman didn't do anything. So
at some point, Mick brought him back, said he was easy, and handed him back to... Who did he hand it back to, Lois?
Yeah, because Lois says, like, I'm going to grab Jonathan and I'll run communication. And, she was on the ship. So you can assume the baby was on the ship.
Okay. I thought there was something I missed, and I was like, wait a second. What if that baby's still alive with Mick? And they didn't disappear.
Everybody's gone. There's 7 people in all existence.
Hey, I just want to like have some hope somewhere. I'm not a very hopeful person, but I was like, what if Mick and the baby? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad that Lex made himself a Paragon, because that's awesome. That's a total Lex move. But I wish he would have made someone else disappear like that. You know, we don't really care that's a Paragon. I don't know, Sarah.
Yeah, I could totally, remove Sarah. I like that Ryan Choi is a Paragon because he's the new character. He's somebody new, something fresh, different. I'm wanting to see if he just officially takes over as the Atom. If Ray's going to die. But no, Ray's going to be in Legends. So we know he's leaving.
But Ray could be dying and then passing the torch. This is all about passing the torch now.
Yeah. So I feel like they're planting the seeds for Ryan Choi to take over as the Atom. But all right, fellas.
But yeah, great episode.
James?
Yes.
All right. Well, there is no Earth to get back to. We'll just hang out here in the Vanishing Point for a couple of weeks, and we'll get back to it.
Look up in the sky.
Look up in the sky.
Look at the sky.